In 1872, Congress established the world's first national park, setting aside over 1 million acres as a public park and pleasuring ground for the benefit and enjoyment of the people.
Okay, I'm in Yellowstone. I just drove through. I'm officially in the gate. Yellowstone has been an American vacation destination for over 150 years, and for good reason, because it's absolutely beautiful. And when I discovered it was only 13 hours away from my house, I figured why not go for it. It is raining here, but I'm leaving for Yellowstone. Got everything all packed up, ready to go. Even though the weather on the road got pretty crazy, I saw some awesome sights along the way, like Shoshone Falls in Idaho. When I finally entered Yellowstone, it was even more magical than I expected. There's steam coming out of the earth right there. I was determined to see it all, and there is a ton to see. Whoa! As I explored Yellowstone, there were a couple of very important lessons I learned during my trip. It is always cold in Yellowstone, even in the middle of June. It's snowing in my campground. It's gonna be cold tonight. I chiseled my way through the ice in order to create my survival fire for warmth. One of the most popular activities at Yellowstone is watching the geysers erupt. Old Faithful erupts on a fairly regular schedule. That's why it's the cornerstone of the park. But even though they try to predict the eruptions for all the geysers around the park, it can really vary from hours to even days. My second lesson learned was not to spend too much time sitting and waiting for any particular geyser to erupt. I learned this when I happened to pass by Giant Geyser, and I observed the waiting crowd. So I thought, why not take a seat and enjoy the show? Well, Giant Geyser was hours late. I finally gave up defeated and walked right up to a different geyser that was actually popping off. It's better just to walk around and see what happens, because you will see geysers. Those two over there just exploded and no one even, they're just like, oh yeah, cool, another geyser. I'm like, what? Everything they say about Yellowstone's true. This is so cool. Woo! Yellowstone! I was enjoying the fresh, sulfuric smell of Mother Nature in all her glory, but that's when I learned my third lesson of the trip. Apparently, it's not recommended that you deeply inhale the gases that come out of the geysers. While they do contain mostly water vapor, they also contain trace elements of sulfur and carbon dioxide, which are toxic in high amounts. They keep saying not to touch any of the lakes because they're too hot. Well, I want to touch this one. No one's looking. Wow. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's hot. So you definitely don't want to touch the water. And when you're snapping photos, make sure not to fall in either. It has happened before. But there's some buffalo. They're everywhere. Yellowstone is the only place in the United States where bison have lived continuously since prehistoric times. During the 1920s, when hunting was prevalent, the population dropped to just 20 bison. But today, there are over 5,000 bison, and they are literally all over the park. So even though it is exciting to see them, keep your distance and do not approach them. This is a lesson that some tourists have learned the hard way. Stay at least 60 feet from the bison at all times. They are wild animals, and they can be aggressive when approached, so keep an eye out when you're hiking around. Saw some buffalo up close, real close actually. I saw the first one and I was like going around it, taking pictures, going around it all nice. And then when I cut back into the trail, that was right where the second buffalo was sitting. I thought he was a rock. And he was like, oh my God, it's finally raining. The big one, the big one. Oh, wow. Oh, it's hail. Oh, it's hail. Hail. It's hailing. Oh my God. Ah! Oh, it's hailing. Check it out. Check it out. I'm getting pelted. Oh, wow. Oh my God. Ah! It's raining out there. Storming. Storms in Yellowstone are normal year-round. So when I experienced this downpour, I just assumed it was another famous Yellowstone storm. But apparently, this storm caused epic, record-breaking amounts of flooding inside the park, and they had to close all of the entrances for a few weeks. What? Which brings me to the final lesson I learned on the trip. Always make the best of the moment and enjoy things while you can. I felt an urge to go to Yellowstone, thinking I better go now. I definitely felt like I made a great decision by just going for it.
A public park and pleasuring ground for the benefit and enjoyment of the people.